Football and politics. It doesn't get more American than that. And the one time where these two worlds intertwine, it sparks a lot of controversy because for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime performance, it's going to be performed by the Spanish speaking artist Bad Bunny. And yes, I did say that a Spanish speaking artist is going to be performing at the highest stage of an American sporting event. Which, if you don't know, this sparked a lot of discourse. A lot of people were going after Bad Bunny saying, how are you going to say that you're going to stop performing in America just to perform at America's highest stage? And then there were kind of Jay-Z saying, Jay-Z, why are you picking a Bad Bunny? Why didn't you pick up some other artists? Why did, Taylor Swift not accept it? Why did some other people not accept it? Get Drake. A bunch of discourse for every music artist out there that haven't performed or has performed was questioned about why they weren't picked over Bad Bunny. So I'm gonna, flesh this out for you guys who aren't aware. So Bad Bunny, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't speak Spanish, so a lot of it is hard for me to relate to actually attach to his music. But I have gone and listened to his albums, and I have gone and translated the lyrics to see what his message is. And a lot of it is positivity, a lot of love, a lot of things that are good messaging. It's not like something degenerate for a lot of people. Now, it depends if you're conservative or not. So that's where the whole political debate comes into play, because in America recently, there's been this thing called ICE raid, where it's basically attack on immigration and what it means to immigrate to this country and to be a legal citizen. So a lot of people are saying, if you don't have your green card and visa, if you overstayed, if you're seeking asylum, you need to go back to your country. You need to get out of here because you're taking away jobs from America, yada, yada, yada. It's been a discourse for a long time now, especially since Trump's been in office. So with putting a Spanish-speaking artist at the top of an American stage at one of the most American things being football. You remember the NFL, right? Remember the whole taking a knee with Colin Kaepernick? Well, this is kind of like, wow, this is how far NFL is willing to go, that they're willing to step away from their core audience, which is usually conservative Southern white Americans who, unfortunately to say, don't tend to be the fondest of immigration, especially from countries that are south of the border. So, people are wondering, why did NFL pick Bad Bunny? And I think people forget to think, what is one of the most important values in America? And no, it's not God and religion. It's money. Yes, that's the reason why they picked Bad Bunny to be the performer. And you're probably wondering, how is Bad Bunny going to generate money for the NFL? For this reason, football is one of the most biggest sports, if not the biggest sport in America. But it's not big anywhere else. It might be a little bit big in Canada. They have a Canadian football league. It might be big in some European countries, as a side sport when people can't get into soccer or basketball. They say, okay, I'll pick up football. I might as well just play rugby instead. But, maybe I don't want to get hurt that much, right? So recently, NFL has been doing these matches and these gaming events, whether it's preseason or just little exhibition matches in foreign countries. They recently had one in Brazil where they did one in one of the Brazilian arenas, and it was a big thing. And you could tell that NFL is trying to broaden their horizon, broaden their audiences. They're trying to get more fans to be a fan of football. And the easiest way of doing that is getting one of the biggest international musicians that doesn't speak English and put them on the biggest stage to get these people to watch this as a sporting event. Other events like in basketball, in soccer, they have worldly events where everybody tunes in. For basketball, it's the Olympics. For soccer, it's the World Cup. Even cricket has big events outside of their home countries, with India and the UK and Bangladesh and all these other countries. Even baseball, they have the World Series, even though it's mostly just American teams, but they still go play in Japan and, the Caribbean with Dominican Republic and all these international countries, right? But football doesn't have that. So that's the reason why they brought Bad Bunny. They want more eyes on their sports. Easiest way to do that is get a big artist that's not American, that's foreign. They don't need another American artist to do this again to try to get foreign audiences. It's not going to work that way. So think of that in a capitalistic point of view, why they picked Bad Bunny. But then there's also the political reason, to spark discourse around their sport. The NFL has been losing fans like every other sporting event due to other things like streaming and content creation. A lot of the youth doesn't really value that much into sports as in like these other avenues of entertainment. So the way they get people to watch the sport is controversy, whether it's politics related or just, the ethics of the sport, or whether it's too dangerous and all these things. And tying in immigration and American politics and, all this discourse about the left and the right and, all this racism, xenophobia, it all is just a big pot for the NFL to be like, oh, this is going to make people want to watch this event. Same thing with that happened last year with Kendrick Lamar. A big reason why Kendrick was even offered that event was because of the Drake beef and how his big year was, on a big stage that had nothing to do with sports. And people wanted to see whether or not whether or not Kendrick was going to say the PDF word. And he did. And it was crazy. Obviously, the performance itself was, up to, your own discretion whether or not you liked it. And this following one with Bad Bunny is going to be also up for your discretion whether or not you like it. A lot of people are probably not going to give it a chance because they don't speak Spanish, so they're just going to be like, he dances well, lights colorful, all this stuff, but what is he saying? And I think that's just a little bit closed-minded to think that you can't see something and enjoy it whether or not you understand what they're saying. Obviously, he's not going to be out there cursing out and just disrespecting the American audience to be like, yeah, America sucks. It's all about Puerto Rico. And even though it's a territory, we're still our own country. Like, he's not going to go that political. He's really just going to be himself and hate that himself. That in itself is going to be controversial enough for the NFL to capitalize off. So that's just a way for people to look at this discussion and look at this event and being like, okay, we forget it's a business, right? So that's my 2 cents on it. I don't think it's that deep. Other than that, a few days after, you're probably just gonna go back to your daily lives and go back to listening to English music artists. Like, you're not gonna be like, wow, Bad Bunny really, changed the game. That is if he does it in the way I think he's going to do, which is, kosher. He's going to keep it clean. He's not going to, stir the pot up. Now, if he takes this opportunity to make a real statement that really focuses in on the racism, the xenophobia, all these things that are happening in the world, especially to his community, well, then that's a different story. And if that happens, I'll make a video about it for sure. So make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're aware of when I do make that video. But, Bad Bunny, good luck and congratulations. But I really don't think it's that deep.